Hello, how you doing? So it's that time of the week again. Taking the dog for a wee treat, and myself. This week I got a chai latte at Starbucks instead, which is always good to change things up. But what I wanted to speak about today was an experience I had last night. It was amazing. It was one of those things that, gives you that real life feedback. Oh my god, a deer just ran across. I'm sitting in the woods just outside Lossiemouth and a deer just literally ran out in front of the car. I might go for a walk after this. But yeah, it was one of those like real life experiences where I got feedback and it was just like one of those grounding moments. So essentially what I did was I've got an app on my phone and the app tells you when there's going to be like meteor showers and all sorts of stuff like that. And I decided to go out with the camera and try and get some astrophotography done. I actually am shocking at it, but that's one of the good things about photography, and I guess a lot of things in life. You can go out and enjoy the process of getting better and still have fun, and despite not getting any photos, what I did get, however, was a different experience altogether. So I went to this place called Auchindoun Castle, which is like this ruined castle between Huntly and Dufton, not far from where I stay in like the northeast of Scotland. And I was walking in this woods. It was like pitch dark. It's 12:30 at night, and I started setting up the tripod, thinking, "Oh, what would look good?" And then I started looking around me, and I swear, every 5 or 6 seconds there was another shooting star. It was amazing. It was like, wow. And it was one of those experiences where, yes, we all know there's billions of people on this planet. The earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. The chances of us all being here and getting to experience this, it's so finite, and there's only one of us. And out of all of those experiences and all the people that were at a certain place that in that certain time, I was the only one standing in that particular moment looking at what was going on. And in the past I used to feel like it was almost like that was an overwhelming thing for me. Even if I speak to my mum and I like invite her to look at the stars if it's a really nice night, she says, "Oh, I don't like looking at that for too long." And I feel that like in a big way. It can make you feel so small and insignificant, but at the same time, it's so amazing. Like, in that moment, I did really feel something special happen. I felt like really connected. And it was one of those moments that are very like, they're few and far between. They're really few and far between. And I try and access states like that mindless state where you're just fully present. And I try this through meditation and other forms of like spiritual practice. But to have it in that way, so unexpectedly as well, it was just insane. And it really made me reflect as well. It made me reflect over, well, what if this is such a small, limited time that I get? What do I want to do with my life? Am I doing something wrong with my life? Like, it's an empowering thing, but yet having so many options, so many different avenues. Like, what led me to that moment? Was it the accumulation of every single choice that I've made up until that point? Or was it something more spontaneous? Was I being guided? And like, that's the question that I walked away with. It's such a weird thing to comprehend. And then with all that responsibility, it's like, okay, well, my life is the result of all the choices I've made up until now. But with that, it's like, oh my God, like I better make something good of it. But I had a very real experience last night, which made me realize I don't have to do anything. Like the fact of being alive, when that stops being enough, problems. Like that's basically what I took away from last night. All of the things that I spend so much time thinking about, planning over, worrying about. in the grand scheme of things, those are not the things that really matter. Like, we hear about people that have had near-death experiences, and they, they don't come back and say, oh, but the cars, and like, they don't have those types of flashbacks. They don't have those types of, well, from what I gather, and don't ask me why I'm looking up this kind of thing anyway, something fascinating about it, that like that other dimension that we have. But they come back and speak about the things that are really valuable, the connections, the family connections, the relationships. Oh, I wish I had more time. If I could go back, this is how I would spend my time. And it's interesting to watch that stuff to me, because it's like, well, they had to go to a near-death place to have that realization. Maybe I could use their experience to change the way that I live my life on a day-to-day basis. And like, just that in itself, like understanding that, okay, much of the things that I'm focusing on are bringing me stress, and those are the same things that do not matter, and I'm chasing the things that do not matter, and in the process neglecting the things that do. It's a crazy thing, man. Honestly, it's a crazy thing. But going back to what I was saying about like this whole concept of responsibility, you know, that's something that I struggle with quite a lot. You know, I think I have pretty much a blank canvas in front of me. I guess everybody does have that to a certain extent. We can kind of sculpt our futures to a certain degree. But my slate is pretty much clean. Like, I've just closed a chapter on my life where I was pursuing. So I gave up like my couple decade long career as a mechanic to pursue life coaching, and then over the course of the next like 3 or 4 years I was involved with the studies and everything involved in that, and only to realize that that is not what I want. And now I'm just like, what the fuck do I do now? But yeah, I don't have to have it figured out, and I guess this is what I'm trying to say. We can put so much pressure on ourselves to try and make sense of everything and have everything figured out. And I think the more emphasis that goes towards that, the less attention is being brought to the present moment, nature, and the things that really just center you back into a place of, actually, this is enough. Breathing, being with people that I love, that is enough. Like, and even the next day, like coming into this morning, I was sitting looking at my mum and I was thinking, regardless of what she was saying, I was listening, I was also present, but I was just thinking how lucky I am. How lucky I am that I am your son. Next time you're around someone that you really have a lot of time for and you really care about, just drop into presence and make that connection, and just try to comprehend how lucky you are to be their brother, their sister, their boyfriend or girlfriend, to have that kind of connection. There has to be something. There has to be something more. There has to be that deeper appreciation. Otherwise, we're going to keep on resetting the goalpost and looking for, like, my life has become a series of stripping things away, particularly now, because I feel like I've almost forced myself into that way of being. And I've maybe went a little bit too far off into the other end of the spectrum. You know, pursuing something that was a risk, giving up a job that was very safe, that was a risk. It didn't come to fruition. I couldn't force something that I wasn't fully invested in. And now I'm trying to figure out what my next move is. But all the while, I've kind of put a lot of emphasis on my inner world. My inner world is taking priority. I've reconstructed a lot of the ways I thought about myself and the world. You know, like the life I used to live, it's like night and day. I'm a very different person than I was, and it's taken a lot of work to do that, to even have any sort of appreciation for being myself. Like, I had a very negative and warped view of myself, but now it's like, hold on, the glasses have come off and I can see things a lot more clearly now. But with that being said, it's like that. One of my friends said this to me. She said, if you focus solely on the spiritual aspect of who you are and you neglect your mindset, which you can do, or your physical health, you know, you might have a very deep appreciation, profound and very rich and profound experiences, but you will be lacking in the external world where finances are concerned, where setting up and being able to provide for your family is concerned. That will go to the wayside through like spiritual bypassing. Or you could be the guy or girl who was overweight and then just solely focuses on getting fitter and better, and the physical appearance was the main focus. But then if you don't work on your mindset, you could still feel like the fat kid with all those insecurities, but yet your body is chiseled, mate. So it has to be like this holistic and inclusive view, which encompasses like the emotional, the physical, the sexual and spiritual, and intertwining the whole lot. And I know for myself, I've kind of fallen a little bit to the wayside and really had to sort out my inner game. But that, I feel, was necessary, because the way that I lived before, it was not nice. It wasn't a nice, like your internal home, my internal home needed to be sorted first before I could step out into the world and address all these other things. And I've kind of managed to drag my heels and do both, but I know now that the balance needs to be brought into a little bit more of a centered approach. But yeah, just having something like that was so unexpected, so profound, and I was just standing there. At the end of the day, I was just standing in complete awe of nature, and realizing just how limited the time here is, also how unlimited that conscious aspect of us is. Oh man, it was just the best. And I really wanted to share that, because I guess the underpinning message that I wanted to put across here is we have so much to be grateful for, many of us at least, really. And sometimes it does take someone else or some sort of experience to have our perspective opened up to, holy shit, I have so much in life right at my fingertips, right under my nose, that I might be overlooking due to these stresses and pressures that I feel like I need to accomplish and achieve in order to find that sense of, oh, I'm okay, and you know, I can now relax and have time with my family, or now I can appreciate time with my friends without sitting there and thinking about my endless to-do list that's running in the back of my head. It's, yeah, it's a funny life. It is a funny old life. But thank you if you've watched this far. I mean, yeah, I really do appreciate that. And I do wish you the very best of days. And yeah, I guess I'll be making another. I don't know what the direction these videos are going to take, but I really do just enjoy opening up a little bit and sharing experiences like the one I had yesterday, because mega stuff. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to finish my latte now because it'll be getting cold. But have an amazing day, honestly. And thank you again for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Take care.